Welcome back to your favorite comedy finance channel. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. So I wanted to re-go over my last couple videos and just kind of reiterate what the message was. Okay, right now what we're going through is what I would call a liquidity crunch. So what's going to end up happening is the Fed is going to be the lender of last resort. And the only reason why the Fed need to be the lender of last resort is if there's a liquidity crisis or liquidity issue. So that's where we're edging towards. If you take a look at the reverse repo market, we've been following it for the past 2.5 years. It fell from $2.5 trillion now down to under 100 billion. The last time I checked, it was at $75 billion. So once this gets depleted, then you're going to have a liquidity crunch. At that point, the Fed's going to need to be reactory, and that's what Jerome calls it. He's like, the Fed, we can only react. We can only react to what's going on in the markets. We can't just print for no reason. There has to be some sort of reaction from us when something breaks, and something is about to break. Today, Jerome talked to Congress about how he felt when it comes to like cutting rates or raising rates. And basically he said that, he's not in any rush to cut rates. There's no reason for him to rush to get this done because inflation's still sticky or whatever the case. Well, inflation's going to get hotter anyways. There's no doubt in my mind inflation is going to continue to rise. The dollar's already dwindling a little bit. We're at 107. We were at about 110, 111 a few months ago. But this time around last year, we were about roughly 100 cents. But there was so many other factors holding up the dollar at that time. Right now, there's not a lot holding up the dollar. And one thing with tariffs that I think a lot of people need to pay attention to is if you have a president going and putting tariffs on imports, then what's going to end up happening is these countries are going to want to compensate for those losses. And the only way they could compensate for those losses is to dump US dollar bonds. And that's kind of what I think is going to happen anyways. In a sense, Trump is using currency manipulation from within his own power. So within his own power, he can charge these tariffs, and what these countries are going to do are they're going to retaliate by dumping those bonds. What this is going to end up doing is it's going to crash the dollar at some point, or it's going to weaken the dollar over time. And that's basically what Trump wants to happen. Now, as this does happen, inflation's obviously going to kick on harder, but I think there's going to be more bank failures I feel like we're probably going to hear about more bank failures as we go into this year. Probably more than what we experienced in 2023, because right now there is a liquidity crunch. So, that's kind of where my mind is. I want you guys to understand where you're at in the market. This is really the beginning of the market. You're going to see something break. You're going to see that fracture. And again, fractures don't happen in a day. A lot of people, they'll sit there and they'll say, well, I'm waiting for that big dip. I'm waiting for that big dip. It's like the big dip happens over a course of months. It doesn't happen on one day. Unless maybe there's a force major, but there's not. I don't really see anything that's force major, anywhere near close to that. But again, the big fracture or the big dip, it happens over a course of time. It doesn't happen in one day. So now's a good time to buy, and now's a good time to get ready for the upswings, because as we start dwindling in the liquidity, that's when you're going to start seeing the Fed start to switch up what they've been talking about. Because right now they're really just showing a bluff. Like they're saying, we're in no rush to cut rates. We're in no rush to do anything, but everything in the background is very rocky. Other countries could very well dump bonds. You have reverse repo market, $75 billion now, and it seems to be dwindling 25 billion per month. So I feel like, I'm thinking that this could probably be depleted within the next months, 3 months, 4 months from now. But that kind of makes sense to where we're at in the market too. I've always kind of felt that, the bull market was going to go towards probably the second quarter of 2026. And I've seen a lot of people, say that, it might be over now. And I'm like, I don't think so. I think this is really the beginning, because it's, if you look at what the Fed does whenever there's a liquidity crunch, it's right when they print, it's right when they do QE. Another example, or another piece of evidence that I'm using, that I feel that QE is coming regardless, and I know a lot of people don't, this is, I guess, debatable, but if one central bank is doing it, they're all going to do it. So India is already doing it, Canada is already doing it, China is already doing it, Bank of England's already doing it. They're all doing quantitative easing. So how long until the US follows suit with everybody else? And they have room to, whenever these other countries are using QE, they're also devaluing their currencies, right? And then the dollar goes up in value because of the basket of currencies that makes up the US dollar index is what keeps that number going up while these other currencies are going down. Well, this is providing enough room for a currency devaluation through the manipulation of government, So that's just, just several pieces of evidence that I wanted to share with you guys. It's a lot of pieces of evidence that we're going to experience that QE. By the way, put it this way, I do think that a lot of people should be taking advantage. I know there's a lot of people that missed out on ArcBlock, or missed out on a lot of these different calls out there, but you're looking at the perfect opportunity to get in, or the perfect opportunity to consolidate your portfolios or reorganize them. Right now is the worst time to have over 10 picks. If you're over 10 picks, I can imagine you've lost your ass. So if I were you guys, I would reconsider what your positions are, and keep in mind, for a lot of those positions that you have as extra, where you're saying, "Whoa, this is just an extra pick. Oh, I'm just having fun. It's it's an okay pick, but I'm not really I don't really have a lot of conviction on it, but I think it's a good one for the short term." Well, everybody else is thinking the same shit as you for that pick, and that's why it's fucking crashing. So again, now is not the time for you to have a sporadic portfolio. It's not a time for you to be jumping around. It's time for consolidation into your high conviction plays, because all your high conviction plays are going to have the least amount of volatility. So keep that in mind. I'm still very bullish on ArcBlock, ABT, Stater, SD, and DIA. I already told you guys I'm going to stick to just those picks. I'm going to be harping more so on Stater and DIA. There's a lot of marketing going on with ArcBlock by itself from the community. So, even though I do hop on the timeline to talk about ArcBlock here and there on Twitter, I'm still growing the community of Stater and DIA. I've already grown the community of ArcBlock, so now I'm growing the community for Stater and DIA. But as you can see, they're still well above call. No one's losing any money, and it still has a lot of growth potential. We're talking about 150x, okay? And it's very possible. A lot of these coins are meant to go into the billions in market cap, and they will go into the billions in market cap, because institutions are going to be purchasing a lot of these companies that are multi-chain. Governments are going to be buying these companies that are multi-chain. While everybody is jerking off about US companies, right? And again, the narrative is bullish for US companies, but the problem is while they're telling you, or while you're jerking off to US companies or tokens, the government and Trump are buying non-American crypto companies by a lot. So I really think that a lot of people need to reconsider what mainstream narratives are out there, because a lot of mainstream narratives are out there to rinse you. I have never seen, to be honest, I've never seen a mainstream narrative make anybody a lot of money, okay? Because they're typically already the most popular picks. They're typically already in the billions. And I was talking to people about this earlier today on OddApp, that it's kind of stupid that these exchanges are only listing these companies in the billions in market cap. How bullish is it to have a listing if they only list projects that are already topping out? Like they listed all these meme coins at the very peak of whatever they were at, and then they activate perps and then fucking just crash them to near zero. So I'm not necessarily bullish on, exchange listings or anything like that. Like I really kind of I really go back to the basics whenever I'm looking at anything. I look at consensus, I look at the tokenomics, I look at the market cap, and then I think about if it's really worth my time and investment. Coinbase earlier just got through listing B3, which is base 3. So I'm going to be waiting till base 4 and 5. But here's the thing. Some people look at it, they're like, well, you know, it's definitely at a bottom, I guess. It's 0 cents. It's half a penny. But you know, this is another example of a mainstream pick. Another example of big conglomerates listing a coin, or big conglomerates offering a coin for sale, like Ondo or whatever. And the first thing you notice is it's already fucking 100 million market cap, or it's already near $1 billion market cap. I don't see the point in buying that stuff. Like, see, this is the thing with you guys, is like, I meet queers every day on Twitter and on YouTube that comment on my shit. And they're constantly only bullish on whatever is heavily marketed, or whatever is like already a mainstream popular consensus coin. And, you know, to me, it's just like, it's the stupidest thing you could do, because you're chasing a trend that had already created itself. If the trend already created itself, you're already late, and you're not going to make the money that you're really looking to make. So for me, I don't care if the company is a good company. I don't care if the consensus is there. I care about if I can make money. So, you know, whenever I'm picking picks, it's because it's going to give me the biggest return for my interest and time vested in that project. So, you know, when you guys are taking a look at a lot of these other companies that, you know, are not going to pay you a lot. And I always use Ondo as a good example of this, because there's a lot of Kool-Aid around that right now too. You know, you have people that are entering that coin for the last year at $1.20, $1.40. Okay. It's going to take 16 billion in market cap for you to get a 3x from today's market. Well, technically 2.77x. Okay. Not even 3x. It's going to take you 16 billion in market cap to get there. You need to give that company $15 billion in market cap for you to get 3x back. You see how I think? I really want everybody in the sector to stop being so fucking stupid. I really do. Because for whatever reason, you guys love giving everybody your money and getting nothing back. I don't get it. I don't know if it's dick you're smoking or fucking meth. I don't know what it is, that there's so many fucking retards in this sector that don't look at an investment and say, you know what, if I'm going to put my time and money into this, how many X's am I going to get in return for my interest? But a lot of people sit there and they say, you know what, let me not think about that. Let me think about, oh, how many people love this coin? Let me think about how much marketing is happening on this coin. Where do you think the marketing money is coming from? Where do you think the marketing money is coming from? It's coming from you. So, you know, again, you got to be there before the trend is created. You got to be there before the algorithm. You got to be there before the consensus. You got to be there before every mainstream faggot starts talking about that pick. The only reason why a lot of these mainstream guys talk about picks, or in general, is because there's algorithm, because it's already popular. It builds their audience. And what sucks about this is it's counterproductive to the investor, because when you have a oversaturated pick, you're not going to get the best return as an investor when it's already popular. You know, the people that make the most money in this industry are people that capture things before everyone realizes it's needed. When we first started talking about multi-chain projects and why I wanted to harp on them, you know, people had all these different companies that, you know, were popular, but all of them were talking about the same shit. They were talking about migrating. They were talking about launching a brand new chain that's multi-chain to get to where they need to be. ArcBlock's already multi-chain. DIA is already multi-chain. Stater SD is already multi-chain. It's there, ready to go. So I think a lot of people are missing the boat. And, you know, the curse of MYC and why we're so successful, you know, is that I like things before everybody else does. And I also dislike things before everybody else does. And people get upset because I pull the trigger faster than them. And, again, this is part of the game. You have to look at what your best interests are, and what your best interest isn't necessarily what everybody is, foaming about. You have to take a look at the basics, tokenomics, what the utility is, what do we need? What does the sector need right now? What are all these exchanges talking about right now? They're all talking about the same thing. They're all talking about multi-chain, So, and there's only so many companies that offer that. So keep that in mind. So, I just wanted to give you guys a quick rant, tell you guys what I'm looking at. And again, what annoys me sometimes is, I'll make a short video for you guys and I still get stupid questions where I'm like, you really need to just take the time to learn. Okay. Take the time to learn. The whole point of you joining ODAP is not for you to jerk off to new calls every 5 days. Okay. The point of joining ODAP is to get a real financial education from someone that has a financial background. It's so that way you understand what a real forecast is. I don't think I'm an expert because I could be a guy behind a camera and I get to point at what pick is the best pick or what pick is the call. That's not what makes me an expert. What makes me an expert is being able to analyze a landscape. That's what you're here for. That's what you need. That's what you need to learn how to do. See, the thing is with influencers, they want you to be dependent on them. They want you to be dependent on their influence, or they want you to be dependent entirely on whatever they have to offer. MYC since the beginning, and what makes us successful is I want to make our people self-sufficient. I don't want you to be, dependent on me to the point where you don't have your own brain. You know what I'm saying? That's why I always make sure that you guys are self-sustainable. You guys understand the do's and the don'ts. And, I saw, an example of this is how many times have I told you guys to get your assets off exchanges, to get a ledger, to get an engrave specifically. I saw some guy on Twitter. I think I've seen him for 3 years on Twitter. Guy follows MYC, and I see him post that he lost over $100,000 worth of ARC block because his exchange got hacked. For $1,200 a year, you could have been on ODAP to hear me tell you that you're fucking retarded to keep over 10 grand in your exchanges. Get your assets off exchanges. Get your assets off exchanges. The only time that your assets should be on the exchange is right when you're going to do a trade. That's it. Do the trade and then run them off ramp. So, whenever I hear shit like this, it's just like, how are you here this long and you're still making these mistakes? You see? So I just don't get it. But again, look, focus on multi-chains. And, you guys, everyone hates a pump and dumper, right? Everybody hates, someone that's making calls every week or whatever the fuck, right? Because whenever you make a call, then it goes up, then it goes down real fast because everyone's waiting on the next call or they're waiting on next week's call, right? No one likes that, right? Okay. Well, you're looking at a guy that's been talking about the same picks for a very long time, okay? There's a reason for that because I'm confident and I'm convicted in those plays. So, and if something and again, if I see something in the landscape that's bearish, I let you guys know. And I always do this, I always tell people it's like, some people will gripe about me pivoting off of old picks or whatever. And there was always a reason. There was always a reason for my pivot. Everything was bullish until admin said something stupid, or admin says a plan that's not going to be the best interest for our investors. So that's the whole point, So Greer is a complete faggot. he's literally talking about all my picks that are above several X's. Okay. You know, let's take a look at Stater SD. It went 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. It went 7X up from call. DIA went about 6 or 7X from call. Okay. And HBAR, Algo, XRP did that in 2 years. Okay. I did 6, 7X within 2 months. So who's the stupid ass? Me or you? You're the stupid ass. In fact, let me go ahead and just fucking mark this queer as spam, because literally people are fucking stupid. I literally don't get it. This is see, that guy is sitting there like XRP was a good example. He's jerking off to XRP every day, and he had to jerk off to XRP for 2.5 years to get 7.5X at the top. How many 80X calls, 20X, 50X, 4X, 10X? Even my shitty calls got 4X, 10X. So I'd rather make money faster than have to wait that long to make anything. So again, this is the reasons why you want to stick with MYC, because the point is you want to get the most return for your interest. You know, you want to get the best X's. You want to spend the less time, because there's queers out there right now bull posting about XRP, HBAR, Algo. You're already late to those picks. Okay. You should have bought those picks when I was calling them in the decimals. Okay. And this is what's funny about a lot of queers right now that are sitting there. They'll sit there and be like, oh, I've been here for cycles on cycles, but nobody remembers you calling HBAR. Nobody remembers you calling Algo. Nobody remembers you calling VeChain. Nobody remembers you calling Cosmos or fucking Chainlink for under $1. Nobody remembers you. No one knows about you. So this is what's funny, because it's like I have to listen to fucking weird, like literally weirdos, you know, about what's a good trade or not. XRP is a very good example of this. It's probably the best example. One of the most popular companies, the biggest market cap, big ass tokenomics, the most Kool-Aid filled project there is in all of crypto history. Okay, XRP. And that guy was jerking off for 2.5 years to see a 7.5X. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine wasting my time like that. Never. Never gonna happen. Unfortunately, we're not smoking cock here. Okay, we're actually looking to make like gigantial gains. Okay. So that's just my rant for the day. I just think that a lot of people are so intertwined in liking Kool-Aid and drinking Kool-Aid versus the very simple parameter of how much money do I have to put in? How much time do I got to spend to get 10X, 20X, 100X, 150X? It's crazy. It really is. It really is. But again, if you're not on ODAP, definitely join ODAP every Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have a voice conference, and I'll go over a financial forecast. And so I will see you guys in the chat. And yeah, thanks for all the tips on how to get better. Yes, I've already heard the green tea, the honey, all the dumb shit. I've already heard all that. Thank you guys. Very, very needed. My WebMD guys. But again, look, I just get tired of like the counterproductiveness of the way people strategize their investing, especially in crypto, So, I think that, when you get time, make sure you look us up. We're on, it's MYC_network on Twitter. You guys could always join ODAP. It's on Apple and Google stores. And I will catch you guys tonight for the voice conference.